You're listening to VOK, Voice of Korea, News Now. The respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un received a congratulatory letter from the Central Standing Committee of the General Association of Korean Residents in Japan on May the 25th, on the occasion of the 65th anniversary of the formation of the General Association. The letter extended the noblest respect to the great leader Generalissimo Kim Il-sung, pioneer of the overseas Koreans movement of the independent era and founder of the General Association, and the great leader Generalissimo Kim Jong-il, who made the General Association forerunner of patriotism, model of loyalty, and example of overseas compatriots organizations, representing the boundless reverence of the entire officials of the General Association and Korean compatriots in Japan. It also reverentially extended the greatest honor and warmest thanks to the respected Supreme Leader Marshal Kim Jong-un, who is leading the movement of Koreans in Japan to a new heyday, true to the lofty will of the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. The letter continued. The 65-year-long course covered by the General Association is a proud and glorious history in which the duty-oriented overseas Koreans movement started, and its victory and dignity have been powerfully demonstrated all over the world under the outstanding idea and wise guidance of the great leaders. The respected Marshal Kim Jong-un is a benevolent father, embracing the General Association and Korean residents in Japan in his bosom, and a prominent leader brightly illumining the road ahead of the Koreans movement in Japan and propelling it to a new innovation, the letter added. It sincerely wished good health to Marshal Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of the two-check course and tender-hearted father. The third stage project for remodeling Samjeon city of Ryanggang province is accelerated. The builders are carrying out in a three-dimensional way the inside and outside plastering of buildings and structures, roof covering, readjustment of districts, river improvement, and afforestation. The leading units have already finished the framework project and is hastening the project of water supply and distribution system and electric work. The builders of the Capital City Construction Commission have registered successes in the work for removing huge amount of buildings, plastering tens of thousands square meters of inner and outer walls, and concrete tamping hundreds of cubic meters of floors, over fulfilling their assignments 2 times every day. In May alone, blocks and artificial slates needed for the projects have been produced. The framework, roofing, and plastering project for dwelling houses, public buildings, and different kinds of structures accelerated, and river improvement promoted. Big efforts are directed in Korea to developing the light industry, relying on domestic resources and technology. The light industry factories across the country have established a well-organized system of collecting idle materials and speed up technical preparations to build production processes for recycling them. Those units with such processes are carrying forward the work to expand their capacity or perfect them technically. The textile mills across the country push ahead with the technical reconstruction of the spinning and weaving machines while putting efforts to solving technical problems arising and improving the quality of the products. The light industry factories, including the Wonsan leather shoes factory, are solving the technical problems for providing raw and other materials by their own technical force. Train car service will be applied to the Wonsan-Kalma coastal tourist area under construction in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. A narrow-gauge tramcar loop line is now being laid around the area. The operation of tram cars is aimed at reducing the air pollution by exhaust gas and ensuring the convenience of tourists in running the public transport means in line with the introduction of the technology of green architecture into the construction of the tourist area. The operation of tram cars and trolley buses have long been encouraged in Pyongyang and other major cities of the country to prevent air pollution and protect the environment. Tea culture is encouraged in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. tea houses and restaurants across the country are serving Gangneung green tea, Gangneung black tea, and other teas made of incense, the specialty of Korea. Defend Rajnances against the panoxically flooding and cement cafes. Drinking tea at home and the workplace has become a daily life of many people. From olden times, tea was regarded as the elixir of life and drink of divine beings. It has become more familiar with the life of the Korean people.
The spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the DPRK gave an answer to the question raised by the Korean Central News Agency on May the 30th as regards the fact that the issue of adopting a law on defending the state security in Hong Kong was decided at the National People's Congress of the People's Republic of China. It is a legitimate measure for China to adopt the decision on establishing and perfecting the legal system and its executive mechanism to defend state security in the Hong Kong Special Administrative District on the basis of the Constitution of China and the Basic Law on Hong Kong at the third session of the 13th National People's Congress of China. In recent years, a grave situation threatening the Chinese principle of one country and two systems and the security of the state has been created in Hong Kong. It is a product of the plot of the outside forces and their followers to tarnish the image of socialist state and fan up and expand social disorder in a bid to divide and disintegrate China. The issue of Hong Kong belongs to the internal affairs of China from A to Z. No country or force has the right to say this and that about it. We resolutely oppose and reject the act of interference by outsiders that hinders the stability in Hong Kong and its social and economic development. Hong Kong is an inseparable territory where the sovereignty of the People's Republic of China is exercised and its constitution is applied. We fully support the measures taken by the party and government of China to defend the sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of the country and achieve stability and prosperity of Hong Kong based on the policy of one country and two systems.
And that's the end of the news read by Choi Jong-nam and Kim Hyun-ok. This is Voice of Korea.